Hello and welcome back to the Kaiser Report. It's Monday. It is also the certification day for the Electoral College votes that are just got through taking place. And it was remarkable to watch the president of the Senate, Kamala Harris, have to give out these numbers. And she didn't look all that happy about it. She's a very stern-looking deal when she was trying to announce the numbers. The raucous applause started, and she had to gavel them down. And I'm sure that just added a little more salt to the wound. We'll see where it goes from there. It's been a remarkable weekend to listen to everyone's views on not only the New Orleans tragedy that took place, but also the blowing up of the Tesla Cybertruck in Las Vegas in front of the Trump Hotel. And the FBI got themselves involved immediately and started to, as with the assassination attempts, tried to cover everything up, and they seem to be doing a very good job at wanting to blame this, that, and the other thing, and get your mind off of what really is going on in this country, which I don't believe anyone has a handle on getting it straightened out or fixed at this particular juncture. And then we have all of the nonsense that took place for 2 to 3 weeks with Jamie Raskin and his loser friends in the seats that wanted to use the 14th Amendment to keep today from happening, but it didn't work, and we have now a president-elect official as for the vote counts from the Electoral College today. So what is Joe Biden up to by visiting in New Orleans at this late juncture in his command post that he is sitting in right now, not doing anything but trying to spend out the entire treasury on all kinds of idiotic appointments and executive orders that he wants to sign in the last couple of days that he has the ability to do that. There is not anything nice about Joe Biden and his attempt to muddy up the waters in a transition from his presidency to the new presidency that is coming in, which he promised would be peaceful and a good transfer. It doesn't look like he's going to keep his word on that. But then let's think about how many times he's kept his word on things in the past. Such as, well, I'm going to have you take a look at this.
It's time to build back better. But I'm not joking when I say this. If you're ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise you I will fire you on the spot. On the spot. No ifs, ands, or buts. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency and dignity. That's been missing in a big way the last 4 years.
I love you, you love me.
He blasted President Trump, saying he's a threat to democracy. Here's what he said just moments ago. He also scolded some reporters.
Do you still believe he's a threat to democracy?
I think what he did was a genuine threat to democracy. My being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
Getting kind of tense, aren't you?
If you're ever working with me and I hear you treat another colleague with disrespect, talk down to someone, I promise you I will fire you on the spot. On the spot. Everybody is entitled to be treated with decency and dignity. I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
If you can't admire Joe Biden as a person, then it's probably you got a problem. You need to do some self-evaluation, because what's not to like?
What a stupid son of a...
Let me take care of that for you.
Get away from our mailbox!
Sir,
I don't want you to touch it! Ow!
Oh!
Hush up, boy.
Amazing, isn't it? How the worm turns and how everything that he has come out and put forward, including Bidenomics and Build Back Better and all of the nonsense and rhetoric that they put out about what they were going to do, all while doing the exact opposite, letting in 20 plus million people into this country, unvaccinated, unvetted, and without any criminal history attached to their entry papers, if they had any. And now, in the 11th hour, he starts to forget about the southern border. We'll just fly them into the city of their choice, and here's the app to allow you to do that. It's unbelievable what destruction that this administration has put upon the American people, and this is why the voting in this election went the way it did, because people have realized that for 4 years, not only the news media were lying to you, but every time a politician or a press secretary opened their mouth, and that started with Jen Psaki and went right into Karine, that is sitting in that position now. They have not told you the truth about anything. And then the one goes over to MSNBC and continues to lie to you every day about what goes on inside our government agencies and the White House and the Senate and the Congress. You name it, they have whitewashed and waxed the Democratic Party through the media to a point now where it is almost unbelievable when you try to filter through what they're telling you. And that includes the FBI here with these investigations about these terror attacks that took place in both Vegas and New Orleans. And now Joe wants to go to New Orleans to shore up what he calls making it a national disaster so they can get money to get ready for the Super Bowl that will take place in New Orleans. How is that the responsibility of the American people to protect the NFL in their Super Bowl from harm by creating an emergency when there are people in East Tennessee and Western North Carolina that are without homes, without shelter, without food, without automobiles, without any help other than $500 or $750 from FEMA, which they have to jump through hoops to get? There's something wrong here, folks, and there's something happening behind the scenes that we're not privy to, and it's scary at a certain juncture that we do have to be on our toes right up until the oath is taken on the 20th of this month. And for God's sake, I wish it was tomorrow, because I can't take any more of Joe Biden's antics and the lies that come out of the Senate and the Congress and Chuck Schumer, who just a scant few years ago was on with one of the news reporters and was telling them how sharp and how wonderful Joe Biden mental acuity was, And then he's had to backtrack on that a little bit, but he's still lying every day to you and I. So, well, here, let's take a look at that.
I want to play you a little bit of something you said last year. Take a look.
I talk to President Biden, regularly, sometimes several times in a week, or usually several times in a week. His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years. All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity has declined is wrong.
Whoopsie daisy!
Leader Schumer, what do you say to Americans who feel as though you and other top Democrats misled them about President Biden's mental acuity?
That's a good question.
No!
Look, we didn't, and let's look at President Biden. He's had an amazing record. The legislation we passed, one of the most significant groups of legislation since since Lyndon Johnson's Great Society. Putting in 235 judges, a record, and he's a patriot. He's a great guy. And when he stepped down, he did it on his own because he thought it was better not only for the Democratic Party, for America. We should all salute him. We should all salute him.
Really?
Do you feel, as we have this conversation today, that President Biden could serve another 4 years had he stayed in the race and potentially won?
Well, I'm not going to speculate. As I said, I think his record is a stellar one, and he'll go down in history as a really outstanding president.
What is the face of a coward? The back of his head as he runs.
So that is Chucky the Clown Schumer, who needs to go home and retire and resign from the position that he no longer has his power in because he is not the leader, the majority leader now. And he needs to push his glasses up on his face and go home and rest, because this man is a despicable character that should not have been in the institutions as long as he has been there. Which brings us to talk about the longevity of some that did not go along with the request to keep the Speaker of the House in place. And the ones that vote against their own side every time need to be watched, and those names need to be brought up and held close to your voting abilities coming up in the midterm elections, and then in the next 4 years, the elections there. If these people do not want to play ball for what's good to the American population and want to protect other countries and illegal immigrants in this country, they need to be voted out of office. They are not doing what the electoral people that put the votes in for them asked them to do. Clear and simple, and we need someone to come up with a cap on age or term limits on these people so we don't have to go through this ever again. Brings me to the next subject, which was what's going on with the wonderful Judge Merchan in New York that is wanting to hold a sentencing carnival one more time in New York and then interrupt the massive workload that an incoming president-elect has to take care of between now and the 20th. And this idiot in New York is going to demand that this happens. This guy should be disbarred, taken off of the possibility from even being a judge at a dog show, Never mind what he's doing now in the face of what the nation has just mandated with their votes on what they want done. And then it'll bring me to the next topic of rub that I've had over the weekend. How do you give one of the highest awards that can be given to a citizen in this country, the Medal of Freedom, to a Soros and to a dyed-in-the-wool criminal like Hillary Clinton? It's almost unbelievable what she has gotten away with over the years, and for this moron to be hanging medals on these two individuals, never mind some of the other ones he's talking about doing, is absolutely, hands down, the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. But here, take a look at this.
Hey, you want to see something really scary?
You bet.
Really?
The Presidential Medal of Freedom is awarded to Hillary Rodham Clinton. Hillary Rodham Clinton is guided by the Methodist Creed, do all the good you can, in all the ways you can. As a lawyer, she defended the rights of children. As First Lady, she fought for universal health care and declared women's rights are human rights. As Senator, she helped New York rebuild after September 11, 2001. As Secretary of State, she championed democracy worldwide, and her nomination for president broke barriers and inspired generations. Through it all, her career has been dedicated to an eternal truth. America's ideals are sacred, and we must always defend and live by them. Her career has been dedicated to an eternal truth.
Are you shitting me? You get a subpoena, and after getting the subpoena, you delete 33,000 emails, and then you acid wash them.
Everything he just said is absolutely false.
Well, the number is actually 32,000, but this is something that the FBI did look at, and this is essentially what they found, that in December of 2014, there was a contractor who was handling the server in her house and the emails, and he was told by the Clinton team to go ahead and delete what they thought were a lot of personal emails, or what they said were personal emails. The contractor told the FBI that he forgot to delete those emails. Then in March of the coming year, Congress did subpoena her over this email business, and that's when the contractor said he made a second mistake, and then he did delete the emails, even though he'd been told not to.
And she lied.
In this case, given the importance of the matter, I think unusual transparency is in order. Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a case.
Through it all, her career has been dedicated to an eternal truth.
The Federal Election Commission is now fining Hillary Clinton and the Democrat National Committee over the way it paid a firm to produce the notorious Steele dossier.
They destroyed BlackBerries with hammers in the State Department. That's not what one of the presidents said.
Evan, hold on. Can you fact check that? Hang on, Evan Perez. Hammers, fact check that for me, please, on the fly.
Yes, they did, Brooke. As you mentioned, there were 13 devices, mobile devices, and 5 iPads that the FBI said that, in some way were used with her private email server, and they did, in some cases, just destroy them with hammers when they were done using them.
Wow. Just wow.
I give up.
I don't know if you watched the actual ceremony, but if you did, you would notice that when he was putting that medal on her, her hands were shaking very badly. I would say that there may be, and I'm not a doctor, but I would say, knowing Parkinson patients, that she is a candidate for either having it or it's an onset of it. So my condolences there, because I don't like to see anyone suffer for any reason, but she should not have been standing there getting this prestigious award from a half-gone mental patient like Biden. So it is what it is. We can't change anything. We can't take it back. But I'm sure that if you're like me, most of the population in this country are not in favor of those two, especially as Soros getting this award. For what? For packing the federal judge benches and getting AGs elected by pouring money into their campaigns so they can use lawfare against the people that are running for offices or may have a better outlook on how our laws should be prosecuted. And we let this morphodite pour money into the one side to fight against the other when we're looking for unity in this country and in our legislative branch. Not to mention the rest of the country that they spent the last 10 years trying to divide. The division came in with Obama, and it carried through with a slight interruption of 4 years of Trump, and then right back to Joe Biden, who had never had a clue of how to handle the job of President of the United States of America.
I'll be damned. I'll be damned.
And that's my estimation. Some will tell you that he was a great senator and did this, that, and the other thing, but I don't believe that he accomplished not one darn thing worth hanging his hat on in the 4 years of the presidency that he was literally walked into through nefarious, in my estimation, attempts at conflicting an election. And we all know the great accomplishments that were put forth by his vice president, Kamala the Cackling Harris, for 4 years, did nothing, and then gets put into a slot to run for president without one vote. And I think this country saw, looked, listened, and made the right decision. Hallelujah. We're going to the 20th, and we hope and pray every day that everything that is wrong will have a solution on board and ready to go in the first 100 days of that presidency. So, East Tennessee here, we got a little snow yesterday. It accumulated to about 1.25 inches. Then we got rain overnight, which took care of everything, and the temperatures went up from the low 30s. And waking up this morning, they were in the 40s. So we'd had a lot of snow melt that was on the ground, and driving was okay, and people were able to get to work this morning and do the daily things that they need to do. And I hope that if you were in one of these areas that got hit with the tremendous snowstorms and up and around the lake areas where the lake effect snows, my heart goes out to you. Be careful. Don't be out shoveling heavy snow without a break, and do what you can to run snow blowers or whatever the method is that you're going to clean your sidewalks with. Do it with care, and enjoy some of that beautiful white stuff. I personally like a snow day. But Kaiser and I are just hanging loose today. It's a rainy day here. It's supposed to turn a little colder toward the end of the week, and we're going to get some more snow. We were out over the weekend and got some wood cut up for the wood stove, and we're going to be ready for it. And I hope you all are prepared as well. Remember to say a prayer for those people that are in Western North Carolina and trying to live in tents and makeshift homes while they figure out how to reclaim their lives. So pray for them every day, and pray that this government is not as corrupt as it is starting to look like to some people. If we get our three-letter agency straightened out and get some truth and visibility to what really is going on, instead of these fake stories that they come up with, and that, oh no, these two incidences aren't related. Bull. There's too many coincidences there to buy their story on that. But anyway, it's Monday, and we wish you all a very happy rest of this Monday. We'll be back to you tomorrow with some more news. I hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. And remember, please, hit the like button. We need you to do that. It costs nothing. And also, share this with your friends so we can get our viewership up a little bit more. And thank you all for tuning in. And we'll see you back here tomorrow on a new Kaiser Report. So God bless, stay safe, stay strong, and stay with the Kaiser Report for your commentary and news bits and travel. So we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.